Welcome back to Morgan's video blog, Morgan's online blog in video format. Today I'm here with the 13 types of responses writers get when querying agents, or tales from a form rejection connoisseur. So when you're querying agents, unless you're both very skilled and very lucky, you are likely to get a collection of, shall we say, letters before you get an offer. And most of that collection will be form rejection letters. So let's talk about why agents use form rejections. You have spent months at least, probably years, hard at work polishing your manuscript, carefully selecting the right agents to query. So you think that would earn a personalized rejection. Sadly, that's not how publishing works. After decades to centuries of authors lashing out at agents who rejected them for reasons the writer didn't agree with, plus the ease of bulk email or online form querying, and these days, the glut of new novels following a forced quarantine, the majority of agents, the majority of the time, send out form rejections. It saves them time and protects them legally. But not all agents have the same technique, so let's talk about what sorts of letters or responses, form or not, can a writer expect. The 13 types of responses. Number 1, silence. Many agents state that if they don't reply in typically 6 to 8 weeks, you should just assume that no response means no thank you. Now, these agents do usually send a confirmation email when you query them, so at least you know your query went to the right place and not was lost in the void forever. Note, I have found that a non-zero percentage of these agents do eventually send a short no thanks email, typically closer to like double the given wait period, but they do sometimes respond. The next type of response is the short and not so sweet. These agents don't want to waste your time, they don't want to waste their time, and it's basically, thanks for thinking of agent, your story is not right for a list, peace, see ya. The third type are what I call polite and inoffensive. Many agents have decided that the key magic phrase they should use in a rejection is did not connect with, the main character, the story, whatever. Mostly because agents of yore have found that it kept writers from trying to, quote, fix the problem in 3 days and requerying. And it's hard to argue with didn't connect. It's kind of nebulous. There is a pushback these days because did not connect can mean you're from a different background and the agent isn't from that background, and so the story isn't what the agent is used to. But the push for hashtag own voices stories is hopefully slimming out the instances where did not connect is used because of cultural divides. Now, with the polite and inoffensive, these rejections are the most common form of form rejection I found. Typically, it's about 2 paragraphs. Thank you for querying agent or agency. While I did find the story, query, whatever interesting, I just didn't connect with the story to the degree I would need to in order to make an offer. And then, publishing is very subjective, so it's very possible someone else will love your story like I wish I could have. Best of luck. Now, they're not always that supportive and, bubbly, but many kind of are. The fourth type of response is polite and late. These are basically polite and inoffensive, didn't connect, publishing subjective, blah, 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 with a dash of, oh my god, so sorry, really should have gotten back to you a couple months ago. It is not uncommon for agents to take up to double the given wait period from their own website. After that, you can definitely think about nudging. I usually don't see a sorry for being so late until the agent has passed that double the given wait limit time, but some do it the day after, which is really considerate of them. The fifth type is generic advice. These start off like polite and inoffensive and add in, some basic generic writer advice. How to get beta readers, or links to writing or editing or querying sites. The sixth type of feedback is what I like to call feedback light. These are basically form rejections that leave you wondering if it's a form rejection or actual feedback. The easiest way to find out is to hop on Query Tracker, and if you have a paid account or your friend does, plenty of writers just share their full rejection letters on there. However, many agents do have a selection of form rejection templates and use different ones depending on how much your story is out of their wheelhouse. So it can be encouraging and it might be actual advice. It's just not as tailored as it seems. The most common form rejection with vague feedback, unsurprisingly, addresses the start of your story. The pages you actually sent. As many writers, especially debut writers, start, according to publishing houses, the story in the wrong place, most of that feedback addresses that section. The three main critiques I've seen are the story started too slow, the story started too fast, we didn't care about the characters before you did all that stuff, and I don't know what the stakes are. The agent may even customize this form rejection with your title and setting and main characters' names, but it's typically based on a template at that point. The seventh type of response is actual feedback, the holy grail of form rejection letters, or not form. Thank you for querying, agent. While some aspects of title appealed to me, I felt that something else could use some work. Thank you and good luck. Awesome, useful. The eighth type of response is the partial. Since many agents ask for, less than 20 pages, if any, with their query package, it can be hard for them to glean much about your writing style or pacing from a query letter. While not an offer of representation, this is where an agent says, I like what I've seen, send me a little more. So, let's see. Number 9 is the revise and resubmit. This is where you really start to get your hopes up. It starts off looking like a not form feedback and ends up with an actual explicit invitation to resubmit to them if you make the proposed changes. If it is not explicitly said, it's probably not an R&R. Quote unquote, revise and resubmit are called R&Rs. So 10 is the full, just like the partial, only they're asking for the entire manuscript. Type 11 of responses is what I like to call salt in the wound. This is a form rejection after a partial, a full, or an R&R. They really hurt, especially the form rejections that give basic advice on how to query or beta read after they ask for more pages, and this is the rejection they send queriers that they reject in like 3 seconds too. Another salt in the wound rejection is a form rejection after if you haven't heard in 8 weeks, move on with your life. You already got the point. It's like 6 months later. Thanks for reminding me you didn't want my stuff. And the form rejection after you already got a form rejection. Maybe the first round was from their intern. Maybe they didn't take it out of their query folder, but it's just another reminder that they didn't want you. The 12th type of response is the call. In this email, They say they want to set up a call. They say lovely things about your manuscript. As a note, most agents only do this when they want to offer you representation, but some do it for an R&R. Be prepared emotionally either way, but have some questions just in case it is quote unquote the call. And type 13 of response, an offer of representation. Congratulations! At this point, you usually have a couple weeks to reach out to any agents with whom you have outstanding queries, partials or fulls. Most will bow out, but it's a great way to get a quick response, and some may express interest. Most agents will try to set up a call when they offer you representation, otherwise known as the call. Assuming you have good rapport with the agent and decide to accept their offer, you are now an agented author. Some agents will ask you to revise your work immediately. Others want to know if you have anything else they can shop around. But at this point, your agent will now be submitting your manuscript to all those publishing houses, hopefully with some insider knowledge of which publishing agents prefer which approach. And they are now in the agent version of the query trenches. But you've made it past one gatekeeper and that much closer to traditional publication. Let me know in the comments below, are there any types of query responses I've missed? I've heard of rude, insulting rejections, but they seem apocryphal these days. Tell me about your time in the query trenches. I love to hear about other people's suffering, at least when I'm whining. Thank you for watching, and tune in again next week for more writing tips and writerly musings. Bye-bye.